Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with Poonam. This is day 45 of our 100 days of coding challenge in JavaScript. Today we are solving another useful and a practical problem, that is getting the current date and time and displaying them in a readable format. Okay, so let's proceed with this challenge and we will move to our VS Code. If we see in the VS Code, we have here our question along with the example output, right? So what is the question? That we have to write a function to return a current date and time in a readable format. And this is our sample output, right? Why it is only output? Because we need to get a current date and time. That means current right now. That's why we don't have an input right over here. So we have to get the current date and time and we have to display it in a readable format. Okay. And this is our sample output. So first of all, what we will do, we will break this question, right? So I will write here what JS function we have to write. Okay. After that, what is the next important part of this question? That we have to get the current date and time in a readable format, right? So that also I will put it over here. Okay. Now this question is asking to get the current date and time in a readable format. So what we will do, we will come here and we will define our function name as what? Get current date time. So I will write here as well, get current date time with the parenthesis. So this will be our function name. Okay. Now what is written in the 7-line number? That we have to get the current date and time in a readable format. So let us understand the approach, how we are going to do it. So I will write here the approach. Okay. Now in this question, what we are going to use? We are going to use JavaScript date object. Okay. Now what is this date object do? It allows us to work with the date and time. It provides method for creating, manipulating and formatting the date and values. Okay. So how we are going to do? We will be using here JavaScript date constructor function. Okay. So this date is nothing but a constructor function. And since it is a constructor function, we will have to create an instance of this, right? So we will be creating instance or the object of this date constructor function by using what? New keyword, right? So this is what we are going to do it. So how we will be writing new date, that we have seen in the yesterday's challenge as well, right? So that is what we are going to do here as well. Now here we will be using another method. That time we used a getDay method, right? So JavaScript date object method provides us many methods, right? So one of those method was what? GetDay method. Today we are going to use it another method. Okay. So what are the methods? So I'll just write here. We are going to use now two methods. Now what is the first method? The first method is nothing but toLocal, okay, date string method. Okay. So I'll just write here with a parenthesis and I will come down and here as well write toLocaleTimeString method. Okay. So let me just write here. So these are the two methods which we are going to use it. Now we can easily understand here there is a date, there is a string, there is a time, there is a string, and there is toLocal. So what it is going to give us? It will return a string representation, okay, of the current date. So I'll just write here what? Current date. Here as well, it is going to give us what? String representation of the current time. Okay. So this is what we are going to use this method and it will be in a local date and time format. So it will give us the string representation of the current date in a local date format. Okay. So I'll just write here what? Local date format. And here it is going to return us what? String representation of the current date in a local time format. So this also I will write it here. Okay. Now, so this is what we are going to use it and this will be our approach. Okay. So it will be what? Local date format and local time format, right? So how it is going to represent? It will be represent your month, then there will be your date, and then there will be your year like this. And this will be what? It will be hour, and it will be minutes, and it will be seconds. And along with it, it is going to provide you the AM, PM also. If it is evening, it will give you PM. If it is morning, it is going to give you AM. Okay. So this is what it is going to give you. So let us create a date object. So how can we create it? I will declare here one variable called as a const now. And what we can write here? New and then date and our parenthesis, right? So this will create an instance of it, right? And we will get our date object. And on this now we are going to use our these two methods. So how we will write now dot toLocaleDateString. See, you are getting it directly. And here what you will write now dot toLocaleTimeString. So this is how we are going to use it. And this is what is the complete approach. We are going to use it in our function as well. So I will just comment it right now. And now let us proceed ahead by creating a function. So let us come here and write down our function. So I will write here what function, and our function will be what? Get current date and time, correct? And I will quickly invoke it as well, okay? So get current date and time. Now in this particular question, we are not going to pass any argument. Why? Because we need to get the current date and time. So I am not going to pass any argument, and hence there will be no params here, okay? So we are not going to receive any parameters. So just to test this function, whether it is running or not, I will just write what? Console.log, and I will write here what? Get current date and time, okay? I will just write it here. And let us now just test it in the terminal, okay? So I'll write here what? Node day 45 challenge, right? And I will hit enter. So what do we get? Get current date and time, right? So this is what we are able to get it. So that means our function is successfully running, right? Now after that, what we will do here is we will come and now we will start creating our data object, and we will use our method. So same, we are going to create a variable and we will keep the same name. So what we will do, we will come here and we will create what? Const now is equal to new, and we will use our date constructor function here. And this is going to give us what? Current date and time, right? I will just console this out. So console.log, now I will write it. And let us come here and I will write here what? Node day 45 challenge, and I will hit enter. So what do I get? I get here date, and we are getting the time zone as well, right? Now we have to separate them and we have to make it in a readable format as well. Okay, so now what we are going to do this on this, now we will be using our both the methods, okay? So let us come here and write it what? Now dot toLocaleDateString, okay? And I will write here what? Now dot toLocaleTimeString, okay? Now since this is going to give us the date and this is going to give us the time, so let us come here and store them into date and time. So I will create a variable called as a const date is equal to, and I will write here what? Const time is equal to, okay? And now let us console this both of them, okay? So we will come here and we will console it out. So what I will write here? Console.log date comma time, okay? So let us just test it in our terminal now. Node day 45 challenge, and I will hit enter. What do we get? We get here date and we get here time. So that is what I explained, how we are getting month, date and year. And here we are getting what? Hour, minutes and seconds, and along with the AM and PM time as well, right? So this is what it was expected from us, okay? Now we will just improvise the console.log statement. So I will put this into a template literal and this date and time into a dollar and a flower braces, right? So let us pass it here, and this also dollar and a flower braces. So we will get the same output now. Now what we will do, I will just write here what? Date colon, and we will write here what? Time colon, and we can just write here current date, okay? Because it's a current date. So let us write here current date and we will write here current time, okay? And let us just test it out in the terminal. What do we get? So I will write here what? Node day 45 challenge, and I will hit enter. So we get here what? Current date and the current time. So now what we will do, in place of comma, we will just put and I will rerun it in the terminal. So I will write here what? Node day 45 challenge, and I will hit enter, right? So we get here what? Current date and current time also. So let us come here and let us rerun it. So what do we get here? We get our current date and we got our current time as well, okay? So let us have a quick recap of this particular question. So what it was been asked, that we have to write a function to return a current date and time in a readable format, right? and we were given our sample output as well. Okay. So now what we did in line number 6 and 7, we just understood and we broke down this particular question, right? So we wrote here JavaScript function and we defined our function name, right? Like get current date time. After that, in line number 7, we understood how to get our current date and time in a readable format. So down we have written the approach. Okay. So what was the approach? We used what JavaScript date object, which allows us to create date and time, and it provides methods for creating, manipulating, and formatting date and time values, right? So how can we do that? We used our date constructor function, correct? And which helps us to create the instance of it along with the new keyword. So that is what we did. And we used our two methods, that is toLocaleDateString and toLocaleTimeString. What does it return? It returns the string representation of the current date in a local date format. And this one, it returns the string representation of the current time in a local time format. And this was the format what it was returning, right? We understood how we can get the date object, right? And on that date object, we use our both the methods, right? That is what we have done. So in line number 20, what we did, we created a function called as a get current date and time. And we neither passed our argument and neither received a params because we wanted to get a current date and time. So that can be easily doable with the help of our date constructor function. So that is what we have done, and we got our date object, right? And using that date object, we got our date and time. How? On that date object, that was our, now we used our local date string method and we used our local time string method, right? And at the end of the day, we just consoled here with an improvised one, that is a current date and the current time. And we invoked it normally. We don't have to do multiple invocations. If you want to see it, you can just test it here one more time. Now it will just differ your time, that to the minutes. Okay, so it was earlier 29, now it is 35, right? So this is what we have got it here. So this is what it was expected from us. Okay, now why this challenge is important? Displaying the current date and time is essential in real world application, such as showing timestamps, scheduling the task, or logging the events. Okay, so this date object is one of the oldest and widely used objects in the JavaScript, yet it remains a powerful tool for time and date manipulation. And also we have seen one of the date method, and also we have seen one of the date method in yesterday's challenge as well. So watch that out as well. And that's all for today, guys. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all tomorrow with another exciting challenge. So see you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.